I'm sure many of you own some covered call ETFs. We have Tesla, we have Coney, we have QQQY, we have QYLD. We have many of these new covered call ETFs coming out. But as we know, they tend to drift downwards over time. So I had an experiment to see if we can use in-the-money covered calls to beat this downward drift. This is just me sharing my experiment with you over the past month or two, and so you can see the results for yourself. As usual though, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor.
Knowledge.
So if you don't know what Tesla is, QYLD, if you don't know what QQY is, this is not the video for you. Go check out different videos so you're not confused, and then come back to this one so you can see what I'm talking about. But I have Tesla up already on my screen, and we see, and if we look at the past year, we can see this slowly drifts downwards, right? Every covered call ETF slowly does this. QYLD is one of the OGs, and it slowly does this. Tesla does this. QQQY has been doing this. So the question is, how can I collect these dividends without losing my initial capital? So when examining this, I said, why not look at it in the money covered call? If we're drifting downwards over time, what happens if I sell an in the money covered call on an ex-dividend date or a little bit before that? And I'll show you why the math makes sense. So let's say we're going to sell a call on Tesla, and this is a perfect example. We're not worrying about bid and ask and getting filled. This is just a perfect example, but I'll show you some examples I did after this math. Let's say we bought Tesla right now at $9.81. So we're buying 9.81. Let's say we agreed to sell the $6 call. So we're agreeing to sell it. So we bought it. They're agreeing to sell it for $6, right? So that leaves us $3.81 in the hole per share. As bouncing around between $3.85 and $3.80. So let's just say $3.80, right? So with all this, this is going to leave us minus 1 cent in the hole, right? Per share. But we know the Tesla dividend is going to be more than this. And we look at a Tesla dividend, the last one was 55 cents. So we add the dividend, we'd have a 54-cent profit per share. So times 100, that'd be 54 bucks, with us limiting our downside from Tesla. And we know Tesla is going to drift downward like every other covered call ETF. So this was my thought. What if I buy the share, sell it in the money covered call, have protection to the downside, collect the dividend, even if the in the money covered call is at a slight loss, collect the dividend, and then I'll be at a profit over time. So I tried that on multiple things, and I'll show you my results. So my first attempt was on QQQY, and I'll show you what happened when I did it. So I bought QQQY for $18.36 per share. So I bought for $18.36. And I opened a contract of QQQY for $10. So I'm agreeing to sell it back at $10. So it leaves me minus $8.36 in the hole. But you see my contract, I got filled at $8.30. So we're going to add $8.30 in here, and then it leaves me 6 cents in the hole from this. So my hope was, even with this, will I be able to collect a dividend doing this with QQQY? And we can see, we go down here. I got filled, I got canceled. And then I was assigned on my QQQY call option on my brokerage account. So on my QQQY experiment, I was assigned it and did not collect the dividend. And if you don't know the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic values on call options, check out this video right here. I have a free calculator for you guys to check it out and figure that out for yourself. So QQQY did not work. I tried that on Tesla. It was a similar deal. I was assigned my call options, and that one on Tesla, I was actually at break even. So that was 2, a no-go. And I tried one on a random stock I found that was giving a dividend, which was Horizon, and I got $12.91 per share. And then I opened a contract for $5.40, agreeing to sell at $7.50. So it was about break even again, but then I was assigned the next day because the dividend was coming up. There's only one stock I found this works on, and I honestly don't understand why, and I'm hoping you guys in the comments can help me figure this out, why this is working right now, or if just people are not exercising their contracts for this. So I've only had luck with one thing, and that's with QYLD. I don't know why it worked on QYLD versus the other ones, but this is the only one I have success, and I really expect this to last. I honestly think it's more of a fluke than anything, or please inform me if I'm not completely understanding, which is very possible. So let's go over this example. I bought 100 shares of QYLD at 17.02. And I open a contract to agree to sell it back to $14, which you see right here. So that leaves me minus 302 in the hole, but I got $3 for the contract. So we have to add 3. Remember, this is the contract. Looks like a G, that's a C. So it leaves me 2 cents in the hole. But since QYLD, you can say because I owned 100 shares of QYLD, I received $16. Sorry, yeah. I received $16 total, but it was 16 cents per share. So I actually made a 14-cent gain regarding all this with the in-the-money covered call, which is really weird. And then we could see a couple days, then we could see about a month later in December, I was assigned on my call option and I was credited my $14 and I kept the premium amount. So I don't know why this has worked on QYLD. I was still in the hole with the in-the-money covered call, but I was able to collect the dividend. And we know we're selling options contracts with other people, so I don't know if the QYLD crowd is not as smart. That's buying call options. I don't know if I'm the dummy. Guys, if you, like, honestly, if you can figure this out in the comments, please let me know. I mean, you have the things right here if you want to pause in the video. But then the money covers call strategy is pretty much a failure with my experiments. I've only lost a couple bucks really because you're only in the hole a little bit if you don't collect that dividend. Now, I think the in-the-money covered call dividend strategy could work if you could find stocks with a lot of extrinsic value that are in the money. Maybe if there's a volatility period for one of these stocks and the dividend is coming up, that might be a time to sell the in-the-money covered call, collect that premium, and then maybe you also get to collect that dividend. I haven't found one of those yet. I've only been doing this for like 2 months, since November, just experimenting with it. And so far I've only had 1 success, but it's fun, it's interesting. And if I lose, I only lose like $2, so it's really not a big deal. Have you ever done the in-the-money covered call on the dividend stock? Let me know in the comments. If you're confused about the in-the-money covered call, check out this video right here where I explain it more in detail. Peace.